If there's one lesson that I learned, is that there's no one path to success or happiness. You have to find your own path. The thing that really made it difficult for me was I had a lot of pressure telling me that there's only one path. And because I saw that, I had like blinders on. I didn't know that any other path existed. And there's so many paths to success and happiness that you have to just find what's right for you. My family's from a state in India called Punjab. So my dad came to America with $100, didn't know many people, didn't know the culture, but decided to hustle and make it work. Every Indian mom will tell you that if you want to find the secret to happiness, you have to become a doctor. If you become a doctor, you will achieve all of your dreams, all of your happiness, and everything that you ever desired will come to you. My dad gave me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I started reading and started learning about investing for the first time. I learned about real estate investing for the first time. I learned about passive income for the first time. I had never heard these terms in my life, but I started to become interested in this whole idea of money management. Every financial book that I read said that wealthy people owned real estate. I was like, and at that moment, I was like, all right, I need to get involved with real estate. I need to figure out how I can own some real estate. I took my MCAT on August 22nd, and on August 23rd, I closed on my first property. It was a small condo, 1,000 square feet. I spent a little bit of money renovating it, and then I rented it out for $600 a month. And that's when I realized, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I don't know how, where, or what, but this is what I wanna do. I don't wanna become a doctor. So I come home one day, tell my mom, tell my dad, I'm not gonna be a doctor. I mean, it was kind of like all hell broke loose in my house. I had my uncles, my aunts, my extended family members calling me from India saying, Jaspreet, is something wrong? Why don't you want to be a doctor? You said you were going to be a doctor your whole life. And all of a sudden, I was throwing away all the security. I was throwing away my future. I was throwing my life. I was throwing away everything that I had worked towards to become an entrepreneur. What the heck does that even mean? And I was taking a class at the time on public speaking. One of the projects in the class was to pretend that the class are venture capital investors and you need to pitch a product. And I kept procrastinating, I kept putting it off. Then one day I was late to class, and on the way I stepped in a puddle, my foot was soaking. Get to class, I'm panting, I'm wet, and the teacher comes up to me and she says, Jaspreet, are you ready to present? And then I realized, oh my God, today's my day to present. So I go stand in front of the class, my heart's beating, I'm like, all right, Jaspreet, come up with something, come on, you could come up with something. The first thing that came to my mind were wet socks because my feet were soaked. And so I made this pitch off the top of my head about why you need to invest in my water resistant sock company. That way you can run, play sports with socks that will keep your feet dry even when it's raining. I was like, that's a pretty cool idea. Wonder if I actually could do that. And I launched 5 water socks. We ended up pre-selling just over $21,000 worth of socks in 30 days. I hired a marketing company who promised me these huge, bold results. I had given them pretty much our entire marketing budget. But the day after I gave them the money, I had this really weird feeling in my gut. So I was doing the chest flies in the gym and I just did not have a good feeling about this. I called up the marketing person that I was working with, and 10 minutes later, after me being on hold, the phone just goes beep, 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 beep. I was like, what the heck? And I had another number. Called the other guy, he doesn't pick up. Called back the first number, it says, this number cannot be found. I was like, all right, something's wrong. So, that's when I found out that I got scammed. It was a fake scam. I lost all that money. I had no marketing budget. And that's when I was like, all right, this sucks. Like, there has to be a place for somebody to start learning about money, to start learning about entrepreneurship, because that's something I never had, something I never grew up with. And I always felt like I thought different than the majority of people. I always knew that I didn't want to be like everybody else. So I call it minority mindset. The name minority mindset has nothing to do with the way you look, your ethnicity, or your skin color. It is the mindset. It's the mindset of thinking differently than the majority of people. I started posting content on Instagram, talking about random things, whatever was on my mind, and everybody was like, hey, this is pretty cool. So that's when I started a YouTube channel. We started to gain a little bit of traction, and so that's when I told myself, I'm gonna follow my passion. What's up, everybody? My name is Jaspreet Singh, and welcome to the Minority Mindset. When I first got on YouTube, finance was always taught by old people in front of a board talking about, here's what the time value of money is like. And it's so boring. What does that even mean? Put it in real context. How does what's happening right now apply to me and my wallet, and what can I do to be better with my money? And so that's what I wanted to do, is just talk to people in a real way. And we started to grow. And as we started to grow, that's when I realized, hey, I can start reinvesting our profits back into the business. So while you can build a large audience, and while social media can be very powerful, at the end of the day, your social media following isn't something that you can own or control. And so every business owner needs to be able to have a way to communicate directly with their audience. And one of the simplest and kind of just the easiest ways to do that is just through email. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by pulling people from your social media onto your email platform. We use Keap, and what that allows us to do now is we pull people from YouTube and Instagram onto our email list, onto our newsletter, and when they come onto our newsletter, we can do more things. And so what automation allows us to do is it allows us to send you through an email training that will show you how to manage your money, from saving to investing to earning to spending your money the right way to wealth management. This content is the same, and instead of us having to constantly keep giving you the same information and manually doing that, what automation allows us to do is it allows us to, one, create great content. And then when you're ready for this information, it allows us to automatically give you this content when you're ready for it. And Keap gave us the opportunity to now give people the content that they want, give people the education that they want, and it's automated on our end, so we can focus more of our energy, more of our efforts to actually create more content. We're on a mission to really change the world and make financial education more accessible. We're recording this video in mid-2021, and we are now on the verge of 1 million subscribers on YouTube. One time I went to Arizona with my family, and me and my dad were getting breakfast. And this guy was riding his bicycle, and he sees me, and he just turns and he just comes up to us, and he stops his bike and he goes, "Are you Jaspreet Singh?" I was like, "Yeah." And he just like grabs me and puts his arms around me, and he says, "Man, you changed my life. Because of you, I got out of debt. Because of you, I finally started investing my money. Because of you, I finally have cash in the bank. You turned my life around. Because of you, I finally have my finances in order." My dad looks at me, he's like, "This guy people watch your videos?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess people watch my videos." My parents are big supporters now. They love it, and it's amazing to see how it's been able to transition in all the different stages that we've been able to go through. If I could get people to understand one message from the minority mindset, it's that anything is possible. Figure out what it takes and put in the work, because it is possible. Is it hard? Yes, but it is possible.